Hi guys. I was looking through the books and kind of reading back through the stories just so that I don't miss anything on the timeline. Some of the characters who turned out to be important or were important at the time, and I'm going to continue to do so that I don't leave big chunks out so people aren't wondering things along the way. And I realized something. There are two characters that actually played um, kind of a neat role along the way in my life before. And also, believe it or not, one of them reappears, not her character, or not her actual person, but the person she was inspired from actually reappears in a different one of Mom's books. So I want to talk about those two characters today. Just to give you a little bit of clarification as to who they were. In the book, they are Sarah and Trent. Now, Sarah I'm pretty sure is referring to my best friend growing up when I was a little bit younger, named Amanda. And again, I'm not going to use last names because I'm not trying to toy with anybody. But Amanda was a really good person. I mean, she was a strict Mormon family, very, very, very adherent to her religion up until a time. She refused to cuss. She didn't drink caffeine. If I gave her $1, she would save a dime of it out to tithe to her church. She was very, very strictly adherent to her beliefs. And again, she was up until a time a really good influence on me, more or less. Um, so basically, me and Amanda lost touch, and along the way, we met back up again. I think I was 17 or so, and I hadn't spoken to her in probably 2 or 3 years. And I went over to her house to hang out. We lived out in a suburb of Reno, between Reno and Carson City, called Washoe Valley, where basically we walked everywhere or rode our bikes. It was a fun, safe place to be, excuse me. And I went over to her house one day and we were just talking, and I realized she was 17, almost 18 years old. And she's telling me, well, I already have two kids. I'm like, where are they? She's like, they're in the other room with my mom. And I was like, completely surprised. I'm like, how do you already have two kids? And she was like, yeah, I stopped listening to my parents. And I was like, okay. She's like, and she started talking to me about government conspiracy theories and all kinds of stuff that didn't make any sense to me. And then she pulled out this big drawer up from under her bed, and it was full of weapons. I mean, weapons that people should not own, um, automatic weapons and things of that nature. And I was very surprised that she never went Columbine on anyone or anything like that, but that I know of, anyways. But I was a little bit weirded out and threatened by her after that. And I really pretty much never, I don't think I ever spoke to her again after that time. But the funny thing about her is uh, her Sarah character is, I think it's a different name in the Burned book, but her actual character in real life, her story was an inspiration. Again, it's not based on her life because she didn't know enough about her life to venture to guess on how her actual life went. But her character was inspired um, by Amanda because because of that reason, because of the mystery surrounding her, and because I told her about the guns under the bed and stuff. So I thought that was interesting, an interesting parallel that I noticed along the way. And then I thought about it, and I realized that she actually does reappear in with a different face, of course, in a different book. Um, Now, Trent, I'm about 99% certain was my friend Derek. And the thing about Derek is that he had a tough time, not just because he was openly gay or easily distinguishable as gay. I might say I don't think he was really that open about it till he got a little bit later or a little bit older, but he was also younger than me. He was a little bit younger than my younger sister, who was 2.5 years younger than me. but he skipped, I think it was 2 grades, because he was very, very, very smart. He had a super high IQ. He was taking classes that were above my classes and acing them. And he was walking home from school one day, and again, we were close. We actually won a contest. We had a There was a random essay contest in school, and I didn't even know what Les Miserables was, but they said write a paragraph as to why you want to see Les Miserables, and I just happened to be a talented writer, and so I was like, well, it might be fun to get out of school for the day, so I wrote a good paragraph, and I won the contest. They picked one girl and one boy, and he won the contest also on his end. So we ended up going to Les Miserables together, and that's kind of when we became kind of fast friends. We hung out for the whole production. It was amazing, and we started hanging out a lot more after that. That was when I was, I think, 14, just before high school, maybe my freshman year early on, before I really before I really got out there. Anyways, um, he had a tragic story back in the day. He was walking home from school, and um, some kind of cowboy kids that didn't really understand him or what he stood for, or um, they were scared by him and his presence, and they came by in a truck and saw him walking alone, snatched him up, put a rope around his neck. He managed to get his hands under it, thank God, and they drug him behind their truck for a couple of miles, put him in the hospital for a few weeks, and I don't think he was ever the same really after that happened. He's gone on to do wonderful things. As far as I know, he lives abroad and he's in production. He actually had a job with the radio station while he was still in high school. I remember we had a field day once, and someone brought in a cheap little goldfish for our mascot. They separated everyone and randomly put us into classes for field day. And so our field day class was our team, and there was this little goldfish swimming around, and some girl thought she was being hilarious, and she was like, I'll give $100 bill right now to anyone who eats that goldfish. So Derek ran up there, scooped it out of the bowl, and swallowed it whole. And of course, she didn't have the $100 to give him, and he was like, he screamed something, and I don't even remember what it was, but he had us all dying laughing. Anyways, he was a good guy, and he didn't deserve that, but I am really glad that I did reconnect with him after years and years. I managed to find him on Facebook, and it took him about, I don't know, 6 months to answer me. I don't think he's on there very often, but he finally answered me, and we talked for a little bit, and he's doing really, really well. Um, but he was a very important person to me. We actually, me and Derek had a little side business going on. Um, for the most part, my grades were really good. My second semester, my sophomore year, I got a couple of D's, and I brought them back up because I figured out it was a lot easier to get away with stuff if my parents thought I was doing the right thing. You turn in bad grades, and they're immediately watching you. So um, I started turning in my homework again, and I ended up with a 3.68 cumulative GPA. Actually, I graduated, just so you know. I don't think I graduated in the book, but I did in real life, with an A minus average, or high B plus A minus average right there. So I did well, but that was only because I knew that it was a good idea to do well if I didn't want to get in trouble all the time. So, anyways, we had a side business. People used to bring us their report cards, and we changed them for them. They would intercept them from the mail. We had half the school, their parents, thinking that their report cards came out a week after they actually did, because they come bring them to us, and they would pay us, and we'd take them and change them and give them back to them. And we made a little bit of we had a good side hustle going on for a little bit there between us, and I guess that was like kind of started my path into forgery, so that probably wasn't good. But Derek did teach me a lot as far as that goes. Um, so yeah, these are definitely two very important people, and they're, again, they don't seem to be that influential in the book, but they really were, and they really both have interesting stories, and I didn't want them to get lost in the mix, because sometimes the sober people aren't as interesting as the people that are out partying or whatnot, and I just didn't want the idea of them or the thought of them to get lost. I wanted them to have their day in the sun also. Okay. So anyways, thanks for listening today, guys. I appreciate you all. Please share like crazy, like, subscribe. I'm trying to grow as much as I can. I've already started writing a little bit, so hopefully I'll be able to be successful with that. Doing my best. I actually have my older son who just got home from school watching my younger son who I had to pick up from school today, which is why I'm a little later on my video today. There was a COVID scare in his class, so now everybody's quarantined, and of course he's not sick, but he still has to be out till Tuesday. All right, thank you so much, and I will see you guys soon.